Hey everyone, welcome into our latest Trade to Black podcast. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and well, what a week it's been. We saw one of the most significant moves yet from a major U.S. medical cannabis market, and that was Pennsylvania. Why? Well, a new bipartisan bill to legalize adult use cannabis has officially been filed in the state Senate. And while we've seen legislative noise in the past, this one has serious legs. So today, we're going to break down why this bill matters, what makes it different from previous attempts, and what the timeline could look like if lawmakers finally get this across the finish line. And oh, get this baby across the line. Let's get into it. Let's start with what's in the bill. This legislation was formally introduced by Senators Dan Laughlin, a Republican, and Sharif Street, a Democrat. They've been working on this for months, but now it's real and it's on the record, and that's important. So here's what the bill includes. Full adult use legalization for individuals 21 and over. A Cannabis Control Board to oversee regulation, private retail sales rather than the state-run model proposed in previous bills, expungement of low-level cannabis convictions, and tax revenue reinvestment into communities most impacted by prohibition. And let's not forget a focus on creating real opportunities for small and minority-owned businesses. So this isn't just symbolic legislation. It's detailed, structured, and backed by lawmakers from both sides of the aisle. Senator Laughlin said it plainly, quote, adults should have the freedom to use cannabis responsibly, and Pennsylvania should have a legal system in place that ensures safety, accountability, and fairness, end quote. Senator Street echoed that, saying the bill is about justice, jobs, and public safety, and that it's time to stop watching neighboring states reap the benefits while Pennsylvania sits on the sidelines. Again, great feedback. So now a lot of you might ask, why does this bill feel different? Let's be honest, Pennsylvania's been here before. We've seen proposals die in committee. We've seen partisan fights. We've even seen the Senate reject a House bill passed earlier this year. But here's where it's changed. One, it's bipartisan from the start. This isn't a Democratic wish list. It's a structured, negotiated framework backed by Republicans and Democrats. Two, it avoids the state-run retail model. The last proposed fell apart largely because it called for state-controlled stores. This bill keeps retail private, which aligns with how most successful adult use markets operate. And then three, the public is overwhelmingly in favor. Polls show that a strong majority of Pennsylvanians support legalization, especially if it includes expungement, fair access, and tax reinvestment. And then four, Governor Shapiro is already on board. While he hasn't endorsed this exact bill, he's been vocal about supporting adult use legalization, and he's called out Senate leadership in the past for stalling progress. So all this makes it clear. The political environment, it has shifted. This isn't just another trial balloon. This is a serious attempt with serious potential. So let's now zoom out for a second. Pennsylvania isn't just another state. It's the fifth largest population in the country with a massive medical cannabis market already in place. So we're talking about over 700,000 active medical patients, a deep network of licensed operators, robust infrastructure for cultivation, processing, and retail. So if adult use passes, Pennsylvania instantly becomes one of the top 5 cannabis markets in the U.S. by potential sales. Something we've been talking about for a while. So what does this mean for investors? Well, multi-state operators like Jushi, Terracin, and Trulieve, they already have a footprint there. Then there's private equity firms. They're watching for market expansion, and investors tracking where future earnings growth will come from. So this isn't just about new customers. It's about unlocking a fully regulated market in a politically meaningful state, a state that could set the tone for others still on the fence. And it's a big one. So now let's talk about what happens next. Even though the bill is strong and has bipartisan backing, we still need to be realistic. Here are the key things to watch. 1, committee progress. Will this bill make it out of committee, or will leadership try to stall it? 2, budget negotiations. Cannabis legalization could become part of a broader budget discussion as lawmakers look for new sources of tax revenue, especially after the big, beautiful bill just passed. 3, there's Senate dynamics. Republicans still control the Senate, and not all are on board yet, but that's changing, and it's changing real fast. So if things move forward this fall and the bill gets signed, we could be looking at adult use sales as early as January 1, 2026. That's what stakeholders are preparing for, and it's a realistic target based on the proposed structure. This bill also creates a Cannabis Control Board to oversee both the medical and adult use systems. That agency would play a major role in streamlining regulation, avoiding the kinds of rollout delays we've seen in other states. So in short, if this passes, implementation could happen fast. Pennsylvania's market is already mature on the medical side, and operators are well positioned to scale up quickly. So for investors watching the cannabis space, Pennsylvania is one of the few real near-term catalysts we can point to right now. Think about what this could unlock. New revenue from adult use sales in a top-tier market, operational leverage for MSOs already in state, and consolidation opportunities as public and private operators position for growth, and a renewed confidence in U.S. state-by-state momentum, something we need, even in the absence of federal reform. In other words, this matters, and it's happening in a state that's been seen as a bellwether for years. Top 5 state. So if Pennsylvania legalizes, and it does with a structure that works for both operators and communities, it could set a new bar for how future adult use programs are built. So what's the takeaway here? Pennsylvania is finally stepping up with a cannabis bill that's serious, balanced, and politically viable. It reflects everything from reformers have been pushing for: private equity access, record expungement, community reinvestment, and a regulatory body focused on execution, not red tape. There's a long road ahead, but the groundwork is real. This isn't just a policy win. It's a signal to investors, lawmakers, and operators that cannabis is entering a new phase, one where states like Pennsylvania are no longer waiting for Washington to lead. So with that, we'll keep tracking it all right here at the Trade to Black podcast. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. What do you think this does for the industry if adult use passes in Pennsylvania? This is big. As usual, make sure to like, subscribe, and smash on that bell for all notifications. And as mentioned, stay connected with us here at the Trade to Black podcast. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. And like I always say, stay open-minded, stay connected, and I'll see you next week. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and thanks again for watching.